systematic control. Navi get the Elder, Navi get the fight, Navi get everything.
Dominating performance, a 2-0 to kick off their playoffs to continue their journey in the upper bracket up against the winner of our next match today.
Recently, Navi in the LEC has been taking off. They've been doing really well. You look up here to the regular season, we can see that Navi has been playing pretty well. They placed second overall, but teams they lost to were some of the better teams like MKOI, KC. And even though recently MKOI and KC, or MKOI and G2 haven't been doing well, I still think Navi has shown a lot this split. If you look at just Navi on their own, I do think Navi has shown how to build a proper roster and how to do it in a way that makes sense for them. If you look here, they have 3 coaches, a proper staff, and some imports. You might be thinking, hey, maybe importing isn't the way to go, but I believe that if you use your imports correctly, it can be justified and it can be a good way to build a solid roster while developing talent from your region at the same time. I think first I want to take a look at is their top laner, Maintner. He's been around for a bit, but he is someone that has shown high level of play. He was on KC Blue, and I believe he did a pretty good job in LFL. This time, I think he's now on Navi for a really good reason, because he's a good top laner. The fact that he plays a lot of different champions, he won LFL, EU Masters, now second place in the regular season. This guy is pretty talented. Looking at his stats and match history, he's played a lot of different champions. I like the fact that they can play Aatrox top. I like the fact that they can play Poppy top. I think these are champions that deserve to be played in the top lane. It's just not as popular. For example, Poppy is more preferred in either support or jungle, but I believe insert matchup Poppy top can be very good. I think the main point that people are focused on, for good reason, is their jungler Rylek. He's from Turkey. He's been playing for a few years now in the Turkish league, in the EU league. I believe this guy, he was on Navi last year technically for summer, but he couldn't play. So he had to just sit on the bench and wait. We now know why the Navi really wanted him. Looking at his playstyle, looking at his champion pool, what he likes to do, he is a very talented jungler. The way he plays the map is also really smart. If you watch the LEC match against Fnatic, BO3, Razork was not able to do much. Rylek was pretty much in control of the whole map. The way he was able to path and punish Razork's misplays and jungle jungle map rotation. Jungle pathing was really smart. I think this guy as a rookie, because he has been playing for a bit, but as a tier 1 rookie, he is really, really good. And I think Navi has done a really good job picking him up. Poppy, he played in Fnatic. We kind of saw what he was like. He did play on T1 Challengers or Esports Academy for a bit. For a few years, he played, that few games that everyone had a really negative mindset of Poppy. I don't think Poppy is the best mid laner in LCK Challengers. I do think there's other mid laners better. But Poppy has shown that he can play in the LEC. He deserves to be here. He's good enough to be in the LEC. If the only times you watched him was on that lineup where he had to play with Reckless, for example, or when he played on the T1 main stage and he had to play with Owner, Gumayushi, Kerio without Faker, and that's your mindset of him, I feel like you have to change because this kid is solid. I did think it was kind of weird that Fnatic picked him up and then dropped him instantly for Vladi. I did think it was kind of weird that they picked him up out of all the possible green challenger mid laners available. But hindsight, looking back, it does. I mean, right now, yeah, it makes sense that they got him. He's looking really good, right? Sam D is another, he's been around the block, as you can see. He's been in a lot of different teams, but he did play in the EU Masters or the secondary league in Europe for quite a bit. So he has shown that he probably can speak English at a decent level. He has a solid 80 carry. And, if you have like a rookie jungle, technically have a rookie top with Maintner, because he hasn't played tier 1 in LEC. Technically you have 2 rookies, right? If you want to get yourself like a solid mid laner, a solid 80 carry that imports, I think this is a fine way to do it. We've seen a lot of teams pick up imports in this way, where they have native talent that you want to develop. They'll get veteran imports from another region to help cover for the fact that the rookies will need time to learn. Because Paris, yeah, he did play last year in LEC, but he's not really a veteran in my mind. I think 1 year in Tier 1 doesn't really make you a veteran. In my mind, he's still a rookie, more of a veteran than Rylek or Maitner. So when you have rookie mid or rookie jungle, rookie support, it's kind of important to have solid players to help complement. In my mind, it's really Sam D that I would consider like a veteran, considering the fact he played in LPL. He played in like Hanwha a little bit. Well, he did play in Astral. So I do think he's on more of the veteran side. He is a little bit older than the other players. So I think the way they built this roster did make a lot of sense. Paris did look like he was struggling in BDS. It does seem like having a different coaching staff, having a new environment does help him out a lot. And I do think picking up people like The Rock or GoToOne were smart. These are some coaches that have been around for a while. They've been grinding up Tier 2. These are coaches that, maybe they worked hard, failed, had to go back, grind, and succeeded in the LEC or in the EU Tier 2 league. I think this is a great way to build teams. The way that Navi is able to play and the way they're coached is exciting. Even though we've only seen them play one BO3, maybe they will have issues in BO3s and BO5s moving forward. But even if they fail split 1, I think depending on how they fail, I think you could be really excited for this team and maybe be hopeful for the future. Because I do think they have a really solid squad. They have a really solid coaching staff that they promoted from Tier 2. They weren't just like recycling Tier 1 coaches that have failed multiple times. These are coaches that, maybe you can argue GoToOne didn't do too well when he was on BDS. But I think the fact that, he went back down, went on General Mates, looked solid, came back up. Now he's coaching Navi, The Rock, Carmine Corp Blue. KC Blue is a very, very, very solid org. They've promoted a lot of different talent. It's a really great way to improve and grow there. So taking their coach is kind of really smart. Saying the fact that there's not many good coaches out there. If you're able to find a good coach hidden in in Tier 2, someone that works hard, improved, shown that they are willing to work hard and keep working hard and improving to go to Tier 1, I think this is a good steal. I think Navi did a great job, and I think they're benefiting from the fact that, hey, this team is doing well, right? This team is improving. I'm excited to see them actually keep playing. They are one of the most hyped teams to watch in LEC right now. I think their next matches from now on will be a lot more difficult. I think MKOI is also really solid. KCG2, MKOI. Those are the teams you have to beat, right? Navi is trying their best in the first split to beat them. I do think they make some mistakes, maybe some choking or some overplaying at certain times, but to me, when you have a younger roster, players that are less experienced than others, I think it's totally fine to maybe have some struggling in the first split, because as long as your fundamentals are good and the way they play the map and play team fights or play around the dragon is really good and really solid, it shows that, okay, they have the base fundamentals down. With this, they can improve and learn and try to win the LEC. My prediction, I think they'll probably finish around third in the first split. I don't see them maybe they can make the finals. I don't see them beating a KC. I think KC right now is really strong. But Navi, I think, can upset G2 or MKOI, because those two teams are kind of a little bit shaky at times. And Navi just has a really solid base fundamental. The way they play, I think, is just really, really, really solid. So yeah, take a look at their team fights around objectives, especially around dragons or maybe the second scuttle grab at times, because for some reason teams love to throw the game a second scuttle. So yeah, look at them play around dragon, second or third dragon or Rift Herald. You'll see how the way they play those fights to set them up is actually really good.